Hey guys, so this is just a quick video to instruct you forcefully that if something is already working for you, don't confuse yourself by continuing to watch videos and take other people's opinions into account and all of that. If you have a method that you use to create change in your life, call it what you want. If you have a way of manifesting the reality that you want that works already, you don't need any more opinions on it. You don't need to ask any questions about it. It will not help you to do that. In fact, if you have a way that works for you, I would my personal advice would be to guard that and don't allow any opinions to have a chance to influence you in any way. I think people get the idea that they can watch videos, they can talk to people, they can put this all out there, and that, you know, their faith is strong enough or their resolve is strong enough that they're not able to be influenced. And that is just simply not the case. I mean, the people with the strongest opinions, you know, if you argue with them enough, they go and they think about what you said, whether they want to or not. And so if you're one of those people and you think that you're impervious, I'm telling you, you're not. You're not. It's just, this is why Neville Goddard said, go and tell no one, you know, do this in secrecy, be private about it, because we as humans are susceptible to outside influence. And especially if you're a reasonable person who hears people out and, you know, wants to learn from other people and doesn't form rigid opinions, you know, with the intention of not becoming somebody who, you know, is too stubborn to see the light about something they're wrong about. That's how I would describe myself. Somebody who doesn't, you know, it's not even, I don't even have to try. It's hard for me to form a rigid opinion about something just because, you know, I know that I don't know everything, and I've seen myself, it's been revealed to me that I'm doing something a dumb way that I could be doing a better way over and over and over again. So I'm always open to other people's input. When it comes to this stuff, the manifesting stuff, making big changes in your life, if you have a way that's working with that, a technique that you're using, or you just have a certain approach to life that has made you successful in certain areas, don't open those up for criticism from outside sources. Manifest the stuff that you want in your life, get the changes that you want, and then you could revisit it, then you could talk to people about it. But if you have on your own, especially if you have a way, if you're already very successful, I should say, you don't need anybody's opinions about anything. They can't really help you. And depending on how, you know, sure of yourself you are, you could easily be setting yourself back by years and years. I'm so thankful. I'm moderating the Neville Goddard subreddit on Reddit right now. And just having been in this community and watching videos and stuff for the last few years, I'm so glad that I didn't find any of this stuff when I was at a more impressionable age and when I had accomplished less. Because I really think that if I had been exposed to all of, you know, if there had been this much content available and this many people with this many opinions coming at me when I was, say, 24, like right when I started building my business and you know, going down that road that I did all by myself without almost anybody to talk to about it, you know, from a manifestation standpoint, I really think that if I had been exposed to all this stuff, that there's a good chance none of it would have happened. I think there's a good chance that I would have experienced so much failure in the business area that I might have just given up on it totally. I think definitely there's a good chance that I would have taken a different approach to stuff like, you know, having a weight problem that potentially could have ended up, you know, with a much worse weight problem. I think that a lot of the advice in the manifestation community is fucking a lot of people up. It's really distressing to see, actually. And even, you know, even I approached this at 40 a few years ago when I found this. Even at 40, having already built a business successfully without any input, literally any input from any peers or anything like that other than my business partner, even I approached this whole thing saying, is it possible that I did this all wrong? Like, is it possible that I did this all the hard way, or that I, did I misunderstand what I was supposed to be doing here and like go about this the normal way when I was supposed to magic it all up? Even I, approach this with an open mind, because it's just so hard for me not to. And I'm telling you that after 2 years of this, 2.5 years of exposure to this, almost 3, I always knew the way all along. The way for me has always been massive action, if possible or necessary, plus a total sense of certainty, plus sort of a natural visualization of the outcome that I want. And, that to me isn't forced. I don't have to make a sad scene and think about it. If I want something bad enough to be going after it, then it's naturally on my mind enough that, there's an image there pretty much always. It's a direction I'm heading in. I don't have to constantly be redirecting myself towards a thing if I really want it. I'm telling you that it's, if you have a way that works for you, then you have a way that works for you. You don't need, unless it's like horribly detrimental to you to continue doing something the way you've been doing it for some reason, then you don't need all of this advice. You don't need all of these opinions from people. All it does is muddy the waters, confuse you, waste time, potentially make you backtrack on something that you could already be, just full force, full steam ahead going towards. By just doing things the way you're naturally wired to do and have already been successfully, the way you've already been successfully operating. I think this is really an issue based on what I've seen. There's a lot of question asking about whether or not I'm doing this right, about a technique from Neville Goddard or something like that. All you have to do is look at your life. Look at, I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of people have at least one area of their life that is not just like a major problem. And if you look at the way you think about that area of your life, if you look at the way you take action in that area of your life, your general feeling about it, if you just kind of feel like this area is okay, this isn't something I've ever had to worry about, all you have to do is just look at how you approach that area of your life, and then start approaching the other areas of your life in a similar way. So if you're the type of person that goes with the flow and that gets you what you want, then you don't need to start taking massive action towards getting something. Whereas if you're a person like me who I hit, every moment of the last 2.5 years that I've spent sitting around noodling something and then just kind of purposely not acting on my normal way of, what I would normally want to do, every moment of that has been just sort of irritating. Like when you're laying down in your bed, and you have a down comforter under you, and like there's a little piece of a feather that's sticking through and like stabbing you. That's what it's been like. And I'm telling you, the sense of relief when I finally just said, this is not what I do. I don't sit around and wait for something to happen. I know what to do and I go and do it, like with my business or with exercising my body, losing weight, that kind of stuff. Just like, I almost can't believe that I'm proud of myself for entertaining that there could be another way, but it's not my way. And the way I know that is by going, leaping into action is just such, the feeling of it is what makes me know it's the right thing. It's just, when I'm doing it, I know it's the right thing. And you know what I mean? So if you have something like that where, you're purposely trying to come at this from a different angle because of what you've heard on here or because of what someone else said, even if it seems like, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, this isn't doing anything for me. You're going to know if you're doing the right thing. And if you're already successful, just copy and paste that in some other area of your life, or keep doing it. If you're like, well, shit, like me with my business, I'm like, well, did I really have to work for this? Like, did I really need to be, maybe I missed some, come on. Like, you already know how you do things. You already know how things work for you. If you have no idea, this probably isn't the channel for you, honestly. because I can't tell you how to figure out basic things about your life. You know, you might just have to live for a while and figure it out, or look critically at what you have going on and, you know, figure out your role in it and how you've been creating it. And then, you know, use the way that you are, work with yourself to figure out how to apply that in a way that's going to get you what you want, instead of, you know, the way that's been getting you what you don't want. I don't know if this video just adds to the confusion and the noise, but, you know, I'm mainly speaking about my own experience here, as somebody who was really successful, already in a manifesty kind of way, you know, after already being involved in sort of the manifestation community without actually talking to people, just reading stuff. I don't think it's a great idea to try to deviate from what you already know works, unless you just really don't have anything on the line, unless you really just, you know, want to experiment. If you have something you really want and you're failing at it and it sucks and it's making your life suck and it's stressing you out, and there's some element of having incorporated some advice from YouTube or Reddit or something about how you should be doing things, I would just shit can that immediately, pretend like you never heard it, and ask yourself, how did I do this before? What do I think I should do now? And then go do it. Because, you know, if you're coming at this from a Neville Goddard standpoint, there's all kinds of shit about action or no action. If you read other New Thought authors that, you know, were writing around the time he was, they're all talking about the same thing, but like everyone else stresses the importance of action. They stress, like Wallace Wattles basically says, you need to take you know, you don't put off today's work until tomorrow, and don't do tomorrow's work today. You know, you put in a good effort every day. You do the things that you think will get you there. You'll be guided in the right direction, but you have to do, you know, you have to do what it is you know or think you can do. And just the fact that this is sort of a unclear picture from the Neville Goddard perspective, I think is really just fucking a lot of people up. It's really just fucking a lot of people up. I mean, I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't read Wallace Wattles first and then taken his advice, and always kept that in my mind that, you know, did I sit on my ass all day today? You know, did I take the actions today that would be congruent with what I want, with who I want to be and where I want to end up? And if the answer is no, you know, then what do you expect? I guess. I'm so glad that I read that and that was my mindset, because then I did everything I could every day, and in a matter of under a decade, my entire life changed. Like, that's a tiny amount of time. That's a tiny amount of time to go from not being able to pay your bills to essentially not having to do shit. I work like an hour a day. There have been periods of time where I like barely worked at all. Didn't even bother to advertise stuff for my business, you know. And that all happened in under a decade. And the majority of it happened in about 3 years. It just went from, like, you know, a person with financial concerns to a person who is only concerned with finances because, you know, out of habit or out of being a worrywart. I have no financial worries whatsoever. And never will again. Not for real. Not in any kind of survival way. So, yeah, I don't know. That action to me has always been sort of a pivotal part of this. And so for me, entertaining the idea that action isn't part of it or isn't supposed to be part of it, it was just a setback. It was just a delay. It may not be that way for you. For somebody else, taking a lot of action just might not be the right thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that for me, I already knew what to do and allowed myself to be, you know, confused by others, who I'm guessing were not anywhere near as successful as I am. So yeah, if you have something that's working for you, don't make the same mistake I did. Just get off of here, stop talking to people, and go kick some ass for a while. Get your thing that you want accomplished, by, you know, using your own natural approach to things and a sense of certainty. No doubt, have some faith that you're going to be led to that thing. Go get it. And then, you know, you can come and look at what other people are saying and decide if you think that they have a valid point. But get the thing first. Don't allow yourself to be sidetracked for 1, 2, 5, 10 years by thinking that, you know, just because this community says there's a way you have to do things or something that you shouldn't do, that is necessarily across the board true. Because really, the more time you spend talking to people, the more you realize that this is really, really highly individual for people. And the way you do something is almost like a fingerprint. Even though people describe it the same, it's really a personal experience, a personal approach that you're gonna have to figure out. Nobody else can do it for you. So anyway, I hope that helps somebody. I haven't been making a lot of videos lately. I've been involved in the back end on the Neville Goddard subreddit, and for a while there, I was doing about, I think, probably 75% of the reading of all the posts that come in. There's tons and tons of posts that come in, and it was just like I haven't had any juice left to even think about anything for myself. And so now we just got a bunch more people doing that, so I have some free brain space. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do some reading and actually have something interesting to talk about here. I don't know. I hope this helps somebody. Have a great day.